There is a fire that lives in all of us. It burns quietly but constantly. It whispers, not enough. You need more. More success. More praise. More pleasure. More certainty. We chase it thinking, if I just get that one thing, then I'll be happy. But when we finally catch it, happiness slips away like smoke. The Buddha saw this pattern clearly. He called it Tama, craving thirst. In the second noble truth, he taught, it is this craving which leads to renewed existence accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there, that is, craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, craving for non-existence. Tamakakapavattana Sutta Samyutta Nikaya 56:11. This craving is not just for things outside us. It's also for identity, for being someone, for not being someone. It's a fire without end, and it's exhausting. Desire convinces us that peace lies just beyond the next goal. But in chasing desire, we lose the present. We become like a man running with a torch in the wind, terrified. The light will go out, unaware he is burning himself. The Dhammapada warns us. The craving of a man who lives carelessly grows like a creeper. He jumps from life to life like a monkey seeking fruit in the forest. Dhammapada, verse 334. This image is both vivid and tragic. Craving doesn't just make us restless. It makes us lost, and yet we rarely question it. Because desire wears the mask of hope. But the Buddha wasn't against joy or love. He simply pointed to this truth. What is fueled by craving can never bring lasting peace. In the next part, we'll explore how the Buddha understood desire not as sin but as misunderstanding, and how seeing clearly is the first step to freedom. The fire of craving may burn within us, but we don't have to keep feeding it. What if desire isn't evil but simply misunderstood? The Buddha never condemned desire as sin. Instead, he observed how it works, how it begins, grows, and traps us. He saw that craving tamha arises from ignorance, avijja. We believe something outside us will complete us. That belief is the root illusion. In the Satana Sutta Anguttara Nikaya 663, the Buddha said, volition is what I call karma. Having willed, one acts by body, speech, and mind. This means our choices, born from craving, set in motion a cycle of suffering. Not because wanting is wrong, but because we cling to what can never last. He illustrated this in a story of a man shot by an arrow. Instead of removing it, the man insists on knowing. Who shot me? What was the bow made of? What kind of feather was used? Meanwhile, the poison spreads. This is what craving does. We keep asking life to give us answers or pleasures that don't end, suffering and ignore the real wound. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha warns, the craving of a careless man grows like a creeper. He runs from birth to birth like a monkey seeking fruit in the forest. Dhammapada, verse 334. And yet he also taught the way out. In the Nibbedika Sutta Anguttara Nikaya 663, he said, craving is to be abandoned. Understanding is to be developed. So desire itself is not the problem. It is the blindness with which we follow it. The solution is not suppression, but wisdom. To see that no object, no experience, no title can offer what we already carry within peace, wholeness, awareness. This is why the Buddha always pointed us back to the present, to the breath, to awareness that sees clearly without grasping. Desire, when seen through wisdom, loses its grip. It becomes a wave we can let rise and fall without drowning in it. In the next part, we'll explore how craving shapes suffering in our daily lives and how the path of mindfulness turns that pain into insight. Desire is not your enemy, but you must learn to see it for what it really is. Have you ever gotten something you deeply wanted, only to find the joy didn't last? This is the nature of craving. It promises satisfaction but delivers restlessness. We spend our lives chasing shadows. A better job, a perfect relationship, more followers, the next escape. But no matter what we gain, the mind whispers, what's next? The Buddha saw this cycle as one of the deepest forms of suffering. In the Paticca Samuppada, dependent origination, he taught, from feeling comes craving from craving, clinging from clinging, becoming from becoming, birth from birth, suffering. Samyutta Nikaya 2.1.2. One moment of pleasure leads to wanting more. That wanting leads to attachment. Attachment leads to fear, loss, and sorrow. This is not a punishment. It is a pattern, and we can observe it in our everyday lives. Think of a time you got what you wanted. A compliment, a possession, a goal. How long did the joy last? And how quickly was it replaced by the next desire? This is not your fault. It is how the mind has been conditioned. The Buddha called this cycle dukkha, not just pain, but the dissatisfaction that comes from grasping at impermanence. In the Dhammapada, he teaches, he who is greedy for pleasures, insatiable in desires, is caught in the net of craving like a fish in a stream. Dhammapada, verse 39. But here's the turning point. The mind that sees this clearly begins to awaken. Craving thrives in the dark, but when we look directly at it with curiosity instead of judgment, it starts to lose its power. Through mindfulness, we start to notice, I'm reaching again, I'm clinging again, and that noticing creates space. In that space, suffering begins to loosen. In the next part, we'll explore how the Buddha taught us to cool this. Fire not through repression, but through a path of gentle renunciation and wise contentment. Desire doesn't have to control you. You can learn to stop chasing shadows and turn toward the light. If desire is fire, then renunciation is water. But this is not the harsh denial of life many imagine. In early Buddhism, renunciation means letting go of what burns, us, not what brings true joy. The Buddha never said we must become cold or lifeless. He said we must become free. In the Sabbasava Sutta Majjhima Nikaya 2, he taught, the taints, bhikkhus, should be abandoned by seeing, by restraining, by using, by enduring, by avoiding, by removing, and by developing. Renunciation isn't one act. It is a lifestyle of wise discernment. We learn to pause before reacting. We examine the roots of our wanting. We ask, does this lead to peace or more thirst? Real. And this path brings a different kind of happiness, not the rush of craving fulfilled, but the calm of not needing. The Buddha taught, the one who has nothing, who clings to nothing, is truly free. Dhammapada, verse 421. This is a joy untouched by conditions. It does not depend on outcomes. It is the joy of enough. Renunciation is often misunderstood as punishment. But for the Buddha, it was liberation. It means stepping back from the cycle of always reaching, always grasping. Imagine walking through life with open hands instead of clenched fists. Not pushing things away, not pulling things toward you, just being. This is the stillness where peace lives. Through mindfulness and ethical living, the Buddha showed a middle way. Not indulgence, not repression, but wisdom. In the next part, we'll look at how to live with desire in the world without letting it rule us. To let go is not to lose. It is to return to a mind that is clear and a heart that is free. We live in a world where desire is everywhere. Advertisements, social media, even our own thoughts constantly whisper, you need this to be happy. So how do we live surrounded by desire without being controlled by it? The Buddha did not ask us to run from life. He asked us to wake up within it. In the Upanisa Sutta Samyutta Nikaya 12.23, he describes a chain of awakening that begins not with renunciation, but with suffering clearly seen. From suffering comes faith. From faith comes joy. From joy comes tranquility. From tranquility comes happiness. From happiness comes concentration. From concentration comes knowledge and vision of things as they really are. It begins with awareness, to see how desire arises, to notice, here is wanting again. And then, instead of following it blindly, we pause. We breathe. We ask, is this desire helpful? Or is it hunger disguised as hope? There are desires that uplift, the wish to grow, to serve, to awaken. These are rooted in compassion, not craving. The Buddha taught discernment, not denial. In the Kunda Kamaraputta Sutta Anguttara Nikaya 10.176, he said, one who knows what is unskillful and abandons it And who knows what is skillful and cultivates it has right view. So we don't fight every desire. We learn to listen deeply to the intention behind it. Mindfulness helps us step out of the automatic chase. We don't have to react to every impulse. We can choose. And in that choice, there is freedom. Living with desire is not a failure. It is the human condition. But when we stop being ruled by it, we become something else. Not a slave to wanting, but a friend to wisdom. The Buddha walked this world just like us. He felt hunger, heat, aging, and pain. But he was free. Not because he had no desires, but because he understood them. And so can we.